So this is the beginning of the second part of this video of adding two numbers together with it. But before I move forward, I just want to clarify with it. We got two input numbers that we do a layout with it. This is the data type. It's called number. In here, we changed the edit text to num1, edit text to num2, and the button is called add with it. Make sure it's anchor to the appropriate number above with it. I didn't do it, so I have to click on the plus over here that anchors it. Make sure the buttons also anchor to the proper left side and the right side, and at the bottom as well. Okay, and the answer is changed into the text, and make sure you have the layout for that. In the attribute says TV text view answer, like I have up here with it. So every one of these, you're going to use the code. Be part of your code when we code this is make sure you know what the IDs for these things are with it. Again, all this is in the, what we're doing is the design of the activity underscore main.xml file that's up here with it. We're going to go into the second half is we're going to go into this video. We're going to look at activity.java. And I do want to recommend you this, is that if you notice I increased my font size for the purpose of our discussion in here with it. So I'm going to zoom in on this area with it, but I do want to recommend that you increase your font size. If you could for me, go to File and go to Settings. And in settings that you have the settings here, and if you can please expand the editor, and if you come down and find fonts right here, I increased my font to 18 and just leave it as JetBrains Mono is fine. It's okay, but the font size, make sure you have it as bigger than what it is with it. Maybe it will help you debug and see your code a lot better with it as well. Okay, so with it, so sorry, computer acting weird here. So click on OK with that. That's how you change the font size of this. All right, I'm going to pause the video for a second. So we're back in the main activity.java. This is the file that we will be editing. I increased the font size, make it a little bigger for everybody to see this with as well. So this is just a template that they package com.add two numbers app that we added and we created in there as well. But I do want to point out this is a if you click on the plus sign, there's nothing in this right now with the import in here. Those of you that had me for computer science 1436, 1437, especially for Java, you understand that these are what's called packages, or what's called preprocessor files that are brought in to help you to load in whatever components that you're using for this. Right now, you don't have anything, but in a second, the beauty about this Android Studio is that it's going to actually import in some of the packages of the components that you're going to be using. All right. So keep in mind of what we're about to see here in a second. Okay. So here's what I want you to do. The first part that we look at is the this part right here, line 7, where it says public class main activity extent app. Activity with it. So this is your entrance to your entire code. So what we need to do is come in here right now and give it some declaration of and allocate some memory in this right now, this time with it, before we can actually go in and assign that memory, connect that memory to our fields that we did with it, and then we connect the button and let the app listen when we're ready to hit that button of add button, and it gives you the result. Okay, so that's the logic for this. You get a drink of water with it. So here we go. So I'm gonna first of all come in here. I'm gonna give it some code that we're gonna actually allocate. So in this, if you open your make sure it's in main activity.java, and we need to allocate some memory. So I'm going to comment as we talk, as we do this, with a / and an asterisk in between that asterisk. I'm going to allocate memory. All right. So this line number 9 that I started out with a forward slash and an asterisk, and it ends with an asterisk forward slash. This line is basically putting a blindfold over the IDE. It just hides it. All right. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to do private. Since we don't want these variables to be used in other functions with it, so we use private as there's three categories: private, protect, and public with it as well. But right now, most common ones you're going to be using is called private. So you start with private. I'd like for you to use private, edit, text, take advantage of the IntelliSense with it, hit tab, and then hit space, and your first variable you're going to be using, recall, is num1. Hit semicolon, that puts a period after that. The second one I'd like for you to use is private, hit tab, and you're going to use an edit text, same thing, and you're going to use, take advantage of the IntelliSense with this is num2 with it as well. So that's the second one. The third one you're going to come in here, you're going to put a private. This time it's going to be the button, and the button one that you're going to look at in here is the one actually recall what the button we're going to add with it. So it's the Android. Remember now, if you look at every time I go to the end of that paragraph, you notice line 5 and 6. It adds in some of these import Android. Look at line 5. Import Android bundle, import Android widget, edit text. These are edit text here. And then I want to place my cursor at the end of this. It has a light bulb on there. It's going to tell me, it's going to ask me, let me do this again so you can see. You notice that the pop-up says Android.widget.button ? And I want to add it. So place my cursor after that, and if you hit enter, hit alt, enter. Okay? It adds that button widget to line 6 for me. You see that? So it automatically adds in some of these import package that we're bringing in these components in there with it as well. The last one I want you to bring in is another one. It's called private. This time it's going to be called private. What's our last one? The one at the bottom where it has the answer again with it. The text view. Text view. Okay, and we call this one results. Remember that? And if you notice, the IntelliSense is telling me Android widget text view, and I'm going to hold down the alt, enter, and it puts in line the text view for me in line 8 for me. So that's what I have right now. I allocate memory some variables that we're going to be working with in this next few lines in here as well with it. Please, Java is case sensitive, so make sure you have the right spelling, the right wording, the right reserved words. You know, it's a programming language. These are variables that you're allocating memories to, like num1, num2, add, and results are variables. These are the actual components that you're bringing into as well, and these are the different types of protected private variables that you're declaring it right now. So the next step is we got these memory allocated. Now we need to link our Java page to the activity _ main.xml. So move your cursor, place your cursor at the end of line 21 for me with it, and hit enter, and give it a couple of lines in between it with it. After you've given, you're inside of this, I want to talk to you to clarify something in here. You're in a particular main section, so make sure you click on, if you see how I click on this yellow or click on that left curly bracket, it pairs with the right curly brackets. If I click on this left curly bracket, it pairs with this right curly bracket. So you're inside a nested curly brackets that's a setting right now. We need to give this an assignment. We need to assign the using num1, num2, add, and results right now. I want to write this from the right side equals the left side, so you can see what an equal sign means in computer science with it. So we're going to assign edit, edit. We're going to do edit text, and take edit text, and if you did this, edit text, and you're going to actually, this is a very common method you need to use, is the find the find view by ID. Find view by, okay, my IntelliSense is not coming in here. It wants me to actually assign this to the num1. Okay, that's what I want to do. So I'm just going to use num1. So it just helps my IntelliSense to kick in a little bit more with it. So edit text, we're going to do find view by ID. You notice how easy that came up with it. And I'm going to use, inside of that, I'm going to use R for the resource with it, meaning all my resources I'm going to look in here. Dot ID is what I'm going to look for. Dot, and remember the name of our edit text field of our num1, ET for edit text field, and num1, remember this right here? So click on that and put a semicolon. That's like a period after a sentence with it. So we got to do both of these things, the same thing. So here's what I'm going to do, just to save us some time. I'm going to highlight line, make sure it's properly spelled. Everything's properly spelled in here with it, num1. So the right side of this equal sign is assigned to the left side. So anytime you see an equal sign, computer science, the right side equals the left side. Copy that, hit enter. We're going to paste this in here and just edit this. Instead of num1, we're num2. And the ET edit text in our XML file was called ET num2, right? So come over to the right hand side and hit enter. So you got num1, num2, it's already answered with this as well. The next one we need to do is the add. So in the add, again, we got to go in and we're going to pull the object was the button. Remember this button right here? Hit tab with it. And in this, you're going to do find view by ID, right? Find view by ID with this. This find view by ID is going to be very common pulled up with this as well. Again, it's going to be add as R ID dot what? You're going to look for button, B-U-T, button. See, right here, button add. Okay, I have to scroll down on that. Okay, button add, and come over to the right, hit enter. And the last one is the results, right? So the results that you actually have to go in, again, the results is what? The results actually a text field, if you recall the type that we put in, hit tab. And the text field that you have here is find view by ID again with it. In here, you're going to look for what? R, uppercase R, dot ID, dot what? TV text view, remember that answer? Remember this? Okay, so that's what we use. Right arrow, hit semicolon. So you are linking this num1 right here is this num1 right here. This num2 here is this num2. This add is this add. This result is this result. See how all these are connected? And you're linking all these ID from the XML files that's assigning to this memory. Okay? Now, it's getting 11 minutes. I'm going to stop the video because I don't like to go too long with this video with as well. So I'm going to pause the video. This is the end of part 2.